How's it going, everyone? I'm Keegs, and in the new Doctor Strange movie, Multiverse of Madness, we see a scene at the beginning of the movie where someone comes up to Steven and asks, was there any other way? Did you have to let Thanos use the snap and wipe 50% of all life in the universe out, or was there something else you could have done? We all remember the scene where he does this.
Hey, what was that?
Went forward in time to view alternate futures, to see all the possible outcomes of the coming conflict.
How many did you see?
14,605,000.
How many did we win?
One.
We as the audience, just like the other Avengers, did not see those options that he went through, and we just kind of took him at his word when he said, yep, this is the only way to do it because, he's a brave and noble Avenger. But was he actually as honorable as that, or did he possibly see another option or another few options in there that would have also worked to beat Thanos, but he viewed them as unfavorable? Minor spoilers for Doctor Strange 2, but in that movie we were introduced to the Illuminati, and the Illuminati is a group of pretty much the worst people, though they are protecting the universe in their own twisted way. But we know that they also went up against Thanos at one point, and in their version of things, they did not go about it the same way our Avengers went about it, and they ended up using the Book of the Vishanti. And that's basically just a magical book that gives you whatever you need to beat your enemy. Kind of, vague, but that's pretty much what it is. And we know that Doctor Strange had access to this book, so I've got to wonder, did he not want to use it for some reason? Or when he saw that as an option that wasn't going to work for him as a possibility? Well, we know that in that universe, their Steven ended up sacrificing himself and dying. So is it possible that our Steven also looked through his multiple options and they always ended up with him dying in some way except for that one option they chose? Part of the arc of the new movie is Steven learning to trust other people. Usually he just thinks he can do it better himself, so he does it. But he hasn't gone through that arc yet at the time of the Thanos conflict, so can we assume that he looked through all the options and he saw an option where he ended up sacrificing himself, but he also saw an option where Iron Man ended up sacrificing himself, and he thought in his mind that he is more useful, and he weighed his options and he said, well, at the end of the day, I want to be the person to be alive because he thinks he could do more good than anybody else in the world. You could argue that he did kind of trust the Avengers to bring him back after the snap since he let himself get snapped away, but really he probably saw that option as the only option in which he survives past the Thanos conflict. So really in his mind, there was no choice to make at all. That was the only way. It was either that or certainly die. To me, he often feels really haunted by what happened and his decisions in the Thanos conflict. But I have to wonder, does he feel haunted because, just it was so sad that, that happened to all the people and people died? Or to me, it kind of makes a little more sense that he's haunted because he saw another option to beat Thanos, but he would have died in that option. So he's haunted because he sacrificed his friend in the other option that also resulted in beating Thanos. Let's dive a little bit deeper here, though, because we know in the new movie, he says that the Book of the Vishanti is just a myth and it does not exist, to where Wong corrects him and says it's not a myth, it does exist. So here's where I'm having trouble, because if he looked at all, billion possibilities to figure out, how to beat Thanos, in one of those possibilities, did he not try to get the Vishanti at some point? Or because he didn't believe it existed, he didn't see that as an option? And I think that's huge right there, because if he had looked at all the possibilities and saw the Vishanti in one of those possibilities, even if that possibility didn't work in beating Thanos, he would know that the book still exists. But here he's clearly saying he doesn't know that the book exists, which means he did not see that as a possibility, which makes me think that everything that happened and every possibility he looked at was just strictly based on his current knowledge. That means that any artifact, ability, or strategy that he didn't personally know about was not considered in all of the possibilities to beat Thanos. Now, this doesn't mean he was lying per se of, nope, he didn't see any other option, but it does mean that there were almost certainly other options to beating Thanos. He just doesn't know about them, so he wasn't able to take it into account. So it definitely makes you wonder if he had gotten some other people's opinions and ideas, if he got Fantastic Four, Reed Richards in there. I mean, he doesn't exist in MCU yet, but if he had talked to, Iron Man or someone and got different opinions and ideas, does those billions of ideas and different strategies and things come into play and give you a different way to possibly have beaten Thanos? I lean towards Doctor Strange not lying, but I also believe that he only saw the abilities that he could think of in his mind and not really all of the possibilities of things that were going to happen. So I do think, yes, there was definitely another way to beat Thanos. But what do you believe? Let me know down in the comments. I'm Keegs, and I'll catch y'all next time for some more Marvel content.